After the 109-101 win against the Clippers, the Phoenix Suns became the second team in the West to clinch a playoff spot behind the Utah Jazz. And today, I would like to answer one question. How much of a contender are the Suns in the West? Before we move on, I would like to remind all of you to leave a like on this video and check out my previous videos. The Magic video hasn't been doing as great as I expected it to. And now with that out of the way, let's move on. As of the time of this recording, the Suns are one game behind the Jazz with a record of 44-18. They have most of their players under contract for next season, as Chris Paul is probably going to accept his 44 million player option because that's a lot of money, and Devin Booker's contract will go on until 2024. Devin Booker for the Suns is averaging 25.4 points per game, 4.4 assists per game on 48% from the field and 34% from three. He made the All-Star team as a replacement for Anthony Davis, but he also got injured later. And a large reason for this is his partner in backcourt, Chris Paul. Booker is one of the best mid-range shooters in the league. He's very clutch and can go off on any given night. He's a walking bucket. And one of the things I'm impressed on Booker is his desire to win. The Phoenix Suns before this season were one of the fastest paced teams in the league, and Booker was a big reason for that. Though they had Ricky Rubio at point guard, Devin Booker had a much higher usage rate of 30% last year. He had the ball in his hand a lot and put up great numbers. This year his numbers have actually gotten worse, but I can confidently say that he's gotten better as a player. He has to play next to a guard in Chris Paul who initiates the offense a lot and plays at his own pace. They're now the slowest team in the league, and though Booker's usage rate hasn't gone down, his number and the time he holds the ball have gone down. But he barely looks like he cares. Everyone thought Booker was empty stats before this season, and he has proved every single person wrong. Christopher Emmanuel Paul is a 36-year-old point guard who's averaging 16.2 points per game and 8.7 assists per game on 49, 38 and 93 splits. Don't let his numbers deceive you. Many people have Paul in their top 5 for MVP, and rightfully so. He's a winner and has changed how the Suns are perceived by the general public. He was their only off-season move besides signing Jay Crowder and has moved the Suns from a borderline playoff team to a contender. Yes, I do believe the Suns are contenders in the West. He's one of the best mid-range scorers in the league and is one of the best catch players in the league. He's shooting an absurd 54% from 16 to 24 feet and has one of the most unstoppable shots in the league, which is his shot from the elbow. One of the most impressive things of Chris Paul's game is his assist to turnover ratio of 3.9, which is 5th in the league. He's had a stretch where he had 30 assists and only 2 turnovers, which is absolutely absurd. He's one of the best floor generals of all time and is doing great things for Phoenix. One of the players who's been greatly helped by Chris Paul is DeAndre Ayton. Ayton is averaging 14.8 points per game and 10.7 rebounds on the season. His averages have gone down from last season, but he has embraced his role perfectly. He's attempting 4 less shots than last year and is shooting a great 60% from the field and 70% from inside the paint. He's been a much better player this season on defense and is 7th on defensive win shares. His pick and roll with Chris Paul has been collapsing defensive rotations. Him and CP3 run the most pick and roll sets in the league. He has much more scoring potential off the pick and roll, which should grow on over time. And another thing impressive this season about Ayton is his offensive rebounding. He's always been a great offensive rebounder. He's 5th in total offensive rebounds this season. Now, moving on to their 2 defensive bigs, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. Mikal Bridges has been one of the best 3-and-D players in the league. He's going to be in all defensive team conversations this year. He guards the best perimeter player on every team night in and night out. He's top 25 on defensive win shares, which is very high considering the players he's guarded throughout the season are great players such as LeBron James and sometimes even Steph Curry. On offense, he's averaging 13.1 points per game on 52, 42 and 82 splits. Cam Johnson is another versatile 3-and-D player who can switch on to players with Bridges. Both of them have been great defenders for the Suns and are important reasons for their top 7 defense. And another reason why they're so good this season is their bench. They are one of the best benches in the league, with Cameron Payne being one of the best point guards in the league and has revamped his career on the Suns. Dario Saric during the start of the season was actually a 6th Man of the Year candidate and was a part of their closing lineup until Ayton has gotten better in the season. Jay Crowder is another player who is valuable for any team he plays for and has just come off a finals run where he was a very big part for the Miami Heat. He gives it all on defense every night and is a 38% three-point shooter. The Suns have one of the most balanced teams in the league. A young superstar who I believe is going to have a great playoff run with his mentality, one of the greatest point guards of all time, and a coach of the year candidate in Monty Williams. The only flaw I believe the Suns have is their center position. Aiton doesn't have a great backup. If he gets in foul trouble in the playoffs, the Suns will be in trouble. But I still do believe the Suns have a championship quality team and the third best team in the West behind the Lakers and the Clippers. And I do think the Clippers need Paul George to be at his best to beat the Suns, and otherwise the Suns will exploit them. I will explain why I think the Suns have a better chance in the West than the Jazz in my next video. That's all I have for you today. Like, share and subscribe if you like this video, and do check out my previous videos and follow for more NBA content.